You ever find yourself staring at a fridge that's just a little too big, a little too loud, or a little too expensive for what you actually need? Maybe you're setting up a small clinic, a pop-up vaccine site, or just need a reliable place to store insulin or lab samples at home. That's where the ACCUCOLD 2 cubic feet medical refrigerator comes in, not as a full-size lab unit, but as a compact, purpose-built solution for spaces where every inch and decibel matters. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. This isn't one of those bulky medical fridges that takes up half your room. It's 19 inches wide, which is about the width of a standard kitchen cabinet, so it fits in tight spaces without screaming, "I'm a medical device." The glass door is actually useful. It lets you see what's inside without opening it, which saves energy and keeps the temperature stable. That's important when you're storing vaccines or sensitive samples that can't handle temperature swings. If you've ever dealt with a fridge that cycles on and off all day, you know how much that constant opening can mess with internal temps. This one is designed to stay quiet and consistent, which is a big deal in a small office or a shared workspace. Now, let's talk about who this is really for. If you're running a full-scale clinic or a lab with dozens of samples, this isn't going to cut it. You'll need something larger and more robust. But if you're a dentist storing vaccines, a pharmacist keeping a backup supply of insulin, or a researcher running a small field study, this fridge gives you medical-grade reliability without the bulk. It's also a solid choice for home use if you need a dedicated, temperature-controlled spot for medications that can't go in the kitchen fridge. The 2 cubic feet capacity is enough for a few dozen vials or small boxes, but don't expect to cram in a week's worth of groceries. It's not that kind of fridge. One thing to watch out for: the glass door is convenient, but it's also a window. If you're storing sensitive materials, you might want to keep it in a room where the door isn't constantly being stared through. It's not a privacy issue, it's more about keeping the fridge from being opened unnecessarily. Every time someone opens it, the internal temp dips, and the compressor kicks in. Over time, that can add up to extra wear and tear. So if you're putting this in a high-traffic area, consider adding a sign or a policy to minimize door openings. Another practical point: this fridge runs on standard power, but it's not a mini fridge you can plug into any outlet. It's designed for consistent power, so if you're using it in a location with frequent outages, you might want a backup power source or a battery backup system. Medical-grade fridges aren't meant to be unplugged for long, and while this one has alarms for temperature fluctuations, it won't keep your samples cold forever without power. So if you're in an area with unreliable electricity, this is something to plan for. The build is solid, nothing flimsy or rattly here. It's not stainless steel, but the exterior is durable enough for a medical setting, and the interior is lined with medical-grade insulation to keep temps steady. The compressor is quieter than most mini fridges, which is a relief if it's sitting in your workspace. But don't expect it to be silent. It's not a wine fridge, it's a working medical fridge, so there's a low hum when it's running. If you're sensitive to noise, test one in person if you can, or read the reviews to see what others say about the sound levels in their setup. So, is this the right fridge for you? If you need a compact, reliable, medical-grade fridge that won't take over your space, this is a strong contender. It's not the cheapest option out there, but it's not overpriced either. It's priced like a medical device, not a consumer appliance. If you're storing vaccines, medications, or lab samples, the consistent temperature control is worth the investment. But if you need more space, more features, or a fridge that can double as a pantry, keep looking. Before you buy, think about where you'll put it, how often it'll be opened, and whether you have a backup power plan. If those details line up, this fridge could be exactly what you need. Check out the link in the description if you want to take a closer look at the specs and see if it fits your setup.